Yeah, another royal baby on the way. Duchess of Cambridge expecting, as you say, their second child. Queen, members of both families are delighted with the news, according to the statement from Kensington Palace, as you would expect them to be. And as we've been mentioning, she is once again, as she was the case in her first pregnancy, she is suffering from this hyperemesis gravidarum, which is this acute morning sickness. But unlike on that occasion when she had to be treated in hospital, she is being treated, it says, by doctors at Kensington Palace, but she will not be accompanying William on a visit to Oxford today. And as I was mentioning, it will, of course, throw her programme up in the air. That will have to be significantly adjusted, certainly in the short term. As I was saying, it throws into doubt, I think, whether she will be able to go to Malta in just a couple of weeks' time to represent the Queen. That would have been her first solo foreign foray. That, I would imagine, will no longer be possible, so we'll have to see who will be deputising for her on that occasion. And of course they were starting to consider what visits they would be making next year. Now, we've seen them undertaking some very significant foreign travel. Now that the Queen is pulling back on the long-haul travel overseas, it has really fallen to William and Catherine to make those long-distance visits. So they went to Canada a few years ago, to the Pacific, and then, of course, that very successful visit to New Zealand and Australia in April of this year. There has been speculation that perhaps China might have been a country that would be being considered for a visit next year. Absolutely not confirmed, but I think given their position and their importance within the royal family, they are now taking on the significant responsibility of representing the royals on these long-haul trips abroad. So that, of course, will now have to be reviewed. We don't know when this baby is due, but assuming that it will be within the first 6 months of 2015, it may be that they will have to put back any plans for travel until the autumn of next year, but we'll just have to see.
George, born in July last year, huge media attention.
Oh, it was. Yes.
You loved it, Nick. You know you did.
Don't roll your eyes. Don't roll your eyes.
It was just so much fun.
All over again, you get to do it.
But this is the second child. And what sort of role will the child have? Because George is, what, third in line, isn't he?
Yes, yes. Is he going rapidly through? Yes, of course he is. Yes, so Charles, William, George. Yeah. So the baby will be fourth in line. Will it be a boy or a girl? Well, you know. But of course there is not the as it were, constitutional significance. If the second child is a girl, there will be no need for that legislation that the Commonwealth countries, the realms, were contemplating, had the firstborn been a girl. I don't know, but I would imagine that they will be perfectly happy, you know, if it were to be a daughter, a son and a daughter, but we will just have to wait and see. What sort of role will it have? Well, you know, this well-established phrase, the heir and the spare, it is important. I mean, it is important for people in their position to have a family, and I'm sure that they will have been very acutely aware of the sort of almost constitutional duty on them to have children, to ensure that the line of succession is there, is secure and is safe. So having one child was never in their situation really an option. There was always a need for them to have more than one child. So clearly that's, I'm sure, a matter of, well, as the statement says, a matter of great happiness to the Queen and other members of the family, and indeed to the prospective, once again, mum and dad.